Hello my friends, welcome back to another episode of MTD North America. Today I am with my longtime friend Fernando. I am excited to be here. Fernando's been in this industry for almost 4 decades. I know that's hard to believe based on how young he looks, but we are going to learn a bit more from him today about this beautiful MAM machine made by Matsuura and some of the benefits that can help you find success like a lot of the other people out there around the world. So Fernando, thank you so much for being a part of MTD.
Tony, it's my pleasure to be here today, and thank you for taking the time to interview us today, and looking forward to our discussion.
Absolutely. Well, honestly, man, you're the expert. I'm going to let you take this away. I know how incredible this machine is, but let's share a little bit with the audience.
Certainly. Matsuura is one of those companies who, as I best describe them in the industry, we're a niche machine tool builder. On average, Matsuura builds just over 600 to 700 machines per year. So that tells you right there that about 200, 250 of them come to the United States. It is a very, very unique product in the industry. And what we're standing in front of right now is the 4th rendition of the 35V from Matsuura, which its original design and development was actually hosting its anniversary today of 30 years since the first machine was built with this platform.
That's incredibly impressive. And I often say that, maybe I even overuse it, but it blows my mind how far it's come from 30 plus years to now, to the success that people have found from utilizing this machine. Now, I've talked a lot about this machine with a few companies that we've been to, and I see them everywhere I go, but let's outline some of the unique benefits that Matsuura is able to do, maybe specifically this machine, but some of the other machines as well, that maybe can't be done in other places.
You know, clearly one of the advantages and one of the positions that this machine has always had from the very beginning is recognizing that in order to achieve a 72-hour work envelope, where the goal was to have this machine, that's where the name came from, so MAM72, the 72 represents 72 hours. And really the objective was, how do you create a platform to satisfy that demand? And really that platform is developed by using pallets and tools. You had to have enough pallets and you had to have enough tools to be able to achieve that goal. But what a lot of people miss is some of the other finer attributes of the Matsuura in thinking and the design and engineering of the product. For example, chip evacuation. Okay, everybody talks about being able to have metal removal and the ability to remove material from a workpiece. But what happens to all that material after you cut it? How do you manage that? Okay, it doesn't do any good to design a machine that can work for 72 hours if you can't handle the byproduct of those things. These are the things that people don't talk about, and they don't talk about it because it's taken Matsuura 30 years to get to where they're at today, okay? It's not something, we're not an overnight success. That's not who Matsuura is.
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk a bit more about chip evacuation, because not a lot of people have a complete understanding of really how important that is to finish, tool life, some of the other components that go on inside the machine that are even unseen. But let's talk a bit more about chip evacuation.
Well, certainly the most important thing is to evacuate it from the tool region, because what you don't want to do is be recutting chips, because if you recut the chips, then it is going to damage your finish and affect the finished overall part quality. That's probably the most important thing to begin with. But then it's also about how much coolant flow. Like, for example, all the Matsuuras in the United States come with shower coolant as a standard feature. That's the way they come from the factory. It's recognizing that the trough, not only is the trough design important, but also the size of it. And how do you manage the chips going through it? And even to the point on angles of your covers, for your axis covers, your telescoping covers. It's what angle is the best angle to ensure that the chips don't build up in the corners. They don't build up in certain areas that will eventually cause problems for the machine tool long term.
I'm impressed. I really am impressed. I like learning these types of small details that matter so much.
It is, and it's something that, again, I think when you have someone come in to your facility and talk to you about the investments that you're going to make with your company as you move into post-COVID and the challenges that that brings with it, those are a lot of the things that don't get talked about. And they don't get talked about because we focus so much on the price or this and that, and really what we should be focusing on, the overall package, and how do you deliver an overall package. And one of the things that Matsuura very much prides itself on is the way the machines are designed and the way that they're brought into the United States. For example, we were talking about now all the machines come standard with a conveyor as well too. So those are the things that recognizing at the end what our customers are dealing with and what our customers are finding the most challenging, we're constantly addressing those and making improvements. And it is a function of constant improvement.
Well, Fernando, I'm glad you brought that up because you and I have discussed this privately. I think it's something that should be discussed publicly, but we're always talking about ROI, you know, the return on investment. But what we really should be talking about is uptime and downtime. And in order to compete, it's not really, while we do need to pay attention to it, it's not really about ROI so much as it is we have to do it now. This has 32 pallets and 320 tool holders, allows someone to have the ultimate uptime and constantly keep this machine running all the time, lights out, and that's what's going to produce that ROI quicker. The machine hours are going to run more than probably any other machine on somebody's floor.
It really is something, and again, no matter how hard we talk about it when we're selling something, really the proof is when you go and you visit with a customer like after a few years, and you come and you look at his hour counter, and when you come and you look at that hour counter, that's what tells you, there's your return, because typically the Matsuuras are running anywhere from well over 85% into 93, 94% spindle uptime on their machines. And that is really what this is all about. It's all about keeping this machine working and allowing you as an employer to really have the people that you work with become a value in other aspects, not just tending the machine. That's where their value used to be, was the machine tending. Now the machine tends to itself. So now they can do more value-added tasks that add value to your company, and that's what really makes it more important.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about, look at the hours. Look how many hours are going to be on the machine, right? Because as you mentioned, and I'd like to reiterate as well, when we are removed from mundane tasks or tasks that can be done in an automated way like we're doing on this Matsuura machine, it allows us to get back to the parts that we love the most, the creativity, possibly even the quoting, the ability to, you know, convey messages to a customer, being able to take care of them for the next job. Whether it may be the ERP systems that we need to focus on to make sure everyone and everything in the shop is taken care of. A Matsuura machine allows for this freedom, and that freedom of time is something that's very difficult to get.
It really is, and you can look at how we can always make the arguments or discussions about global pressure and global economies, and those types of discussions, while they're important, there'll always be somebody that costs less per hour to have their machine in operation, right? There always will be. So it's our job to find a way to provide an equalizer, and that's really what this platform does. This platform allows you to compete with people that are in other countries, or even your competitors maybe here locally, that are doing things the way that we used to do them, and we don't do things the way that we used to do them anymore.
Well, there's two things I want to bring up based on what you just said. And one is, and it may have changed a little bit over the years, but I recently read and heard that the average spindle runtime is 40% of the time on most machines. And you're talking about 80, 90 or above % on the Matsuura. So we're doubling or going more than double on the average runtime, which allows that competition, right? Then also, we all know, whether we like it or not, there's a massive skills gap. And how do you reduce that skills gap in labor? By having a machine that can run 24/7 and allowing one person to do 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 different things.
You really do see that. And one of the things that in my 3 years that I've been with Matsuura, I've purposely kept track of this because it was something that was important to me. And I can tell you that this machine, of all the machines that we sell, or any Matsuura that we sell, I can go back to the company a year later and it has not replaced a single person. But what I see is, I see the people that still work for the company, but they are doing different tasks now. They are addressing other important items in your shop. So yes, while it's very important on the decision on how you buy a machine tool, it's also understanding that it's not meant to take away any technology or any jobs from anybody. It's actually allowing you to keep the people that you have and understanding how difficult it is to find people today and really be able to maximize the benefit of the people that you work with.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to do something real quick and put on my Captain Obvious case. Sorry, guys, my Captain Obvious cape. Yeah, as a superhero of Captain Obvious. Precision, reliability, lights out machining, I mean, the Complete software, these are all things that we talk about a lot, that a lot of people out there know about, but I think it's fair that we touch on it again. The fact that it's, 2/10 or better, right? The fact that Complete's extremely user-friendly, and the fact that I can set up a project, if I wanted to, and run it for a week on end, come back at the end of the week, and I'm still within 2/10 on my finished part.
Without exception, being a machinist by trade myself, it's pretty simple. If you have somebody that is in your life and they're a machinist, all they want to do is make good parts. This machine allows you to have a platform to achieve just that. Worth noting is the largest installation base that we have in North America has 21 of these machines in one single facility. And of those 21 machines, not one of them is making a contour 5-axis part. It's all 5-face and positioning accuracy. That's the goal of the machine. So when you talk about the accuracy, you've got an accuracy of 2 arc seconds on your BNC or on your ANC, depending upon the platform or the configuration of the machine itself. That's the standard for Matsuura. So if you start there, what do you get? You get good parts, and that's what we all want to achieve, is good parts. So absolutely. Now, how do you get from wanting to make good parts to making good parts? You need other tools, right? Obviously, you need to invest in work holding. There are a number of work holding companies out there that can provide good solutions for you. But the other thing is Complete. And a lot of people don't understand what Complete does. People have a misconception that Complete is some sort of a CAM system, and it's not. It's a tool path verification software. So basically what it does is it takes your geometry from your model, you import that into Complete. Complete actually takes and codes it and posts it in G&M code programming language, and then runs a simulation based not on the CAM system geometry or tool path, but on the actual geometry that would be created. By doing that, you're ensured that the machine performance is 100% mirrored to the performance on the platform from Complete. So if you don't crash the machine in Complete, you won't crash the machine in real life.
Very well said, my friend. Very well said. Well, guys, I learned a lot today. And I got to spend time with one of my good friends, which I am incredibly grateful for. I got to learn a bit more about Matsuura. Hopefully we conveyed a message to help you understand a bit better how you can create success with a Matsuura, reduce your own skills gap that's globally a situation right now, run lights out, don't focus immediately on cost, but what you can create moving forward into the future. My friend, it's been a real pleasure. You are always a good man, and I look forward to hanging out and spending more time with you.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for coming over today.